So 10 3-minute rounds, super lightweight contest in the 140-pound division, IBF Intercontinental title on the line. Your commentary team, as always, Tasha Jonas and Nick Horley.
Thanks, Chris. Got a feeling this could be a really good one. Davis, the Liverpool man, in the black with the orange belt against Gabriel Valenzuela, the very useful Mexican from Guadalajara, part of the Eddie Reynoso stable, who lost his 4th and 5th fights since then. Has won 19 out of 20, 12 in a row since a contested draw in Toronto against Canadian Jesse Wilcox. That was back in April of 2018, and he has not come here to make up the numbers. As you've already heard Chris Lloyd say, there is the huge carrot of a slot on the Canelo undercard there for Valenzuela, if he can get past Robbie Davis, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of development Davis has made. Been inactive since last March. He made that big change when he lost to Lewis Ritson in October 19, going to work with Dominic Ingle, one of the UK's most astute trainers. Had a fight in March, had an 8-rounder against a very limited Argentinian. Won every round of that one, but there's nothing limited about this opponent tonight. Davis is going to have his work cut out, and Mark Lyson's going to have his work cut out here as well. I mean, it's all getting a bit chippy here right at the start.
When I say no boxing, okay, stop boxing, no punches, okay,
I'm not sure how much Scouse accent Gabriel Valenzuela understands, but I think I'm sure he got the gist of it. Don't take liberties. But these two starting off. Oh, that's a nice counter. He's quite cute, Valenzuela. You watch him on tape. If he's allowed to settle and get into a rhythm, he'll come forward and he'll chug away. But he's a guy that can come in with counters, and he tried to land the right uppercut counter there as well. And getting off sharp here, Valenzuela landing the jab, and already Davis knows. I think he's in with a real live one here.
Yeah.
Caught him again.
I think with Robbie, you've got to get him out of a rhythm and make him uncomfortable and make him work, because he will just plod along and do what he wants and takes his time and choose his shot. But if you make someone uncomfortable and punch out of their rhythm, I mean, he's catching him there with good straight 1-2s.
Certainly a bright start, and you can hear Dominic Ingle working overtime already. But he does look a little bit open here, Davis. Valenzuela catching him and then complaining to the referee. He does like the counter punch, Valenzuela.
Yeah, he does, Nick, and I think the problem Davis Jr. is having at the moment is that when he does let his hands go, he's staying in front of his man and giving him the opportunity. He's not getting off that line enough, and that's surprising given the lines and the way the Ingles work. They always teach you to get off the line, move around the circle, and Davis Jr. just not doing that at the moment. I'm not quite sure why, but just taking a little while to get warmed up here, and we'll hear what Dominic Ingle thinks of that first round.
Yeah, it wasn't a great start for Robbie Davis Jr. It's a very promising start for this man. Working with Luis Espinoza this evening. Meanwhile, backstage, there's a man looking cool, David Avanesian, the European welterweight champion, about to defend that belt. Comes into this one as an underdog against Josh Kelly with the UK betting fraternity. But this, to be honest with you, it looks like a real pick 'em fight. You can make a strong case for both of them. And anybody who thinks this fella's washed up over the hill, there for the taking, forget about it. Now then, Dominic Ingle is going to earn his money tonight.
Good.
Josh Kelly looking on. Two cool dudes in our main event. Well, Davis, you'd think, has got to tighten up defensively. Valenzuela, you watch him on film, he's got a spiteful backhand, Tasha, and he was catching Davis with it pretty regularly in that first round.
Yeah, I think that was the most concerning thing. It was just a straight 1-2 that down the middle that was catching him. And as Chris said, the Ingles way is like, you know, kind of being elusive. But when someone moves trainer, you want to see what developments they do and how they get on and how they suit that style. And let's hope we can see more.
Nice switching stance here as well. Davis, here we go again.
Yeah, he did switch, but he got hit by 2 right hands straight down the middle as he did so, and I think he just decided to try and get back to orthodox. But he needs to try and just settle. I think that was the last thing I heard Dominic Ingle say to him in the corner, and it was just relax. I think he is a little bit tense. He has maybe been just caught by a couple of hard shots and felt the power, and that can, you'll know this, Tash, it can cause a little bit of tentativity. If you get hit by that first shot and you think, wow, that was harder than I anticipated, it can then just bring a little bit of tension into those early stages where really you just need to try and relax into your game plan.
Yeah, I think that...
Oh, got him with the right hand! There's that spiteful backhand I was talking about. No, there was a bit of a balance issue there as well. I think the feet got tangled up, which is why there's no count, but no, he got stung there. Sorry to interrupt you there, but we can blame Gabriel Valenzuela for landing that right hand there, Tash.
It was such a good shot, I forgot the question.
Well, the question was actually about what happens when you get stung early by a hard shot, and I think he just answered your question there. But look, Nick, just from a technical point of view, and Tash as well, every time he switched to southpaw, he's been caught by that right hand, and already I think he's in a little bit of trouble. What does he have to do here now, Tash?
I think that if you're going to change the southpaw, the bread and butter shot against the southpaw is a backhand. So if that's your strongest shot, I don't know why you would opt to do that.
And I wonder if that's working to a game plan, or whether that's Davis just freelancing and doing that for himself. Either way, it's as Chris has already said, it doesn't seem to be doing him a lot of favours. Here he is back in that stance again. Interesting to have a look at the replay of what happened there when he got spun back on the ropes. Whether it was just a balance issue or whether he did get stung. I thought he got caught. And the replay will confirm it.
And also, Nick, he's switching coming forwards against this guy who's trying to set traps and trying to bring you onto shots. So we know that Valenzuela is a good counter-puncher. We know he's looking for those kind of first and third phases. He's going to try and bait you into a trap and counter-punch you. And Davis is stepping forwards and switching. I mean, that's kind of almost suicide in boxing terms, because at some point in that phase, your feet are going to come square, and that's when you can get caught. And at the moment, he just doesn't look fluid. He doesn't really look like we expected to see him, and I think he was hurt in that round as well.
Yeah.
Also, the momentum of your shot as you're moving forward, as you're moving onto the punch.
Don't give him no chance of punching. This kid, trust me now, he's starting to fade, this kid. He's getting frustrated and moaning. Yeah? Swabs up his nose. Deep breathe. Slow it down. Yeah. Slow it down. Leave him up. Leave him up. Both of them. Deep breathe. Listen to me. Keep southpaw.
Venezuela's got a close punch.
Yeah. Listen. Keep southpaw.
Tú estás manejando, tú tienes más poder, tú tienes más fuerza, tú tienes más agilidad, tienes más recursos. Él solo tiene un recurso y te quiere cazar.
We did just hear that Valenzuela's got a cut. Now I remember the referee coming into mine and Terry's fight and saying the same thing, because if it's caused by a shot, wait till you hear.
I think that's more the feet, isn't it? But still, sorry to interrupt you there, Tad.
No, it's okay. When it was caused, when a shot's caused by a punch, if it's before 5 rounds, I don't know whether that rules are still in that. It can be, you know.
Yeah, go to the cards.
Exactly. So that can change the course of a fight.
And perhaps, Nick, I think as well, Tash, in addition to that, just a little confidence boost that Davis Jr. probably needs to hear just when he's had a little, I would say, torrid 2 rounds, but certainly not the best of starts. And I think there was a bit of kidology from Dominic Ingle in that corner saying he's getting frustrated, he's getting tired, because I don't think that really tallies with what we see. And Dominic Ingle knows he's boxing well enough to know that's probably not what he's seeing either, but maybe at this stage, just what
right hand caught him again. I tell you, this guy's backhand is nasty.
Yeah, I don't think southpaw's a good idea for Robbie Davis Jr. at this stage.
He's bringing it up and through like half of a screw shot, so it's not coming directly straight, it's coming under and through. Robbie's, he's got quite a wide guard where his elbows are quite far out, and he's just bringing it up and through.
He's a pretty durable guy, Robbie Davis Jr. He has been stopped just the once. Michael Sorowotka, the Pole, caught him in the last round of their first fight. fight, and that was at a time when Robbie's father, Robbie Davis Sr., a former Great Britain Olympian, was very, very ill and subsequently passed, and Robbie said, I want a chance for revenge. Cyril Rock gave him that, and he got his revenge, got a stoppage later on. That's the only time he's been stopped. The only other defeat was against Lewis Ritson. So he's going to need that durability because he is getting caught by these right hands. And something else you notice about Valenzuela, if you watch him on film, he's not one of these guys, one of these Mexicans that can only box coming forward. But if you let him come forward, he's very happy taking that role as well. So he's one of those guys that you can't just have one game plan with him. I think you might have to be flexible and adaptable, and maybe that's part of that southpaw stance. Maybe that's part of the thinking, just try and switch it up. But as you say, Chris, it's not been working for him.
I think the big difference, you know, we know Lewis Ritson can crack a bit as well. I think with Ritson, he's always in your face, he's always letting his hands go, and to some degree you kind of acclimatised to it, and if you tuck up tight, you're ready for a kind of consistent barrage of punches. With Valenzuela, what he's doing is he's economical with his work, and he's disguising when that big shot's going to come, and he waits for the perfect opening, and all the while he's keeping you guessing, and just the moment where you drop your guard or you just make a little mistake and give him an opening, he doesn't just crack you, he cracks you really hard down the middle, just like there with that right hand, and that's what's difficult, is when you can't read that punch, you can't brace for it.
It's been coming. He's stung him with a straight right, then a right hook has put Davis on the floor. Now there's only a few seconds to go in the round. That's the good news for Robbie Davis. That's the only bit of good news, because he's been caught repeatedly by that right hand. You sense something was coming, and Valenzuela knows he can hurt him now. Well, if that had landed a minute earlier, we might be saying this is the end of this one, because it's been coming. He set him up beautifully there and then followed up with another one.
Yeah, right on cue, Nick. I mean, you know, just as we were talking about it and saying how well he sets the traps and finds the perfect opening, he found a brilliant one with the right hand, and then as Davis Jr. just got a little bit gung-ho and fell into middle distance with his hands down, just catches him with that right hook and spun him right the way round. It'd be really hurt from this.
Do you understand? You've got to box from the southpaw. This kid's getting ragged, he's catching you with lucky shots because you're leaving yourself there. Do you understand? Have confidence and pick your shots. Keep your head down and don't be straight of his backhand. Don't be straight of his backhand. Do you understand? You walked onto that shot. He's just waiting for one shot. When you're outworking him, he's getting nowhere near you. You've got to be disciplined, Robbie. Do you understand what I'm telling you? You've got to be disciplined, because this kid's going to come here this round. You've got to be spinning out to your right. You listen to me. Come on.
We heard Dominic Ingle there stress the importance of the southpaw stance.
We talked earlier this evening about, you know, the shots and the power and what type of shots they are and how they affect you, and we'll see in this round whether that was just a buzz shot that hurt him or whether that's took something more out of him.
Yeah, we'll find out a lot. I think he's been hurt by that right hand 3 or 4 times. That didn't come out of just a lucky shot, far from it. Valenzuela's looking to set him up for it. And Davis has just got to navigate this round and then settle back down again.
Yeah, listen, the issue he has is a very simple one. He's not stepping around him. You can hear Dominic Ingle calling for it. And if you're in the southpaw stance, you've got to get off that line against the guy who's got a really good, strong right hand that extends it at full length, which is what Valenzuela is doing at the moment. The problem is his legs just don't seem to be under him, Robbie Davis, and I don't think it's even as a result of being hurt. They didn't look under him from the very start. He's just not moving as fluidly as he does normally. He's not taking the steps off. And if you're in the southpaw stance, you're open down the middle and you're staying on the line, you are asking for a straight right hand.
Hang on, that could be a point off. That could be, at the very least, it's a last warning.
It's okay, you understand?
Hey, some referees would have taken the point off right there.
Okay,
All right, let's play that game. Come on, here we go. Come on, don't do stuff. Come on,
It's turning into a rough old night, this, for Robbie Davis Jr. I was surprised looking at the odds for this one, that Davis was the odds-on favourite, and I'm not a gambling man, but Gabriel Valenzuela looked very good value at 11-4 with the bookies. I bet those odds have changed in play a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. If you looked at this card up and down the bill and you'd said, is there an upset in the offings, this was the fight where it was going to happen. And I don't necessarily think you can call this an upset, and it's probably a disservice to Valenzuela and how good he is. I just wonder that maybe people have overlooked him and not really done their research properly, because Davis Jr. is a very good domestic fighter. We know that. Mixed it at British level. He's European champion, a good fighter. But this is no mug he's in against. And well, so far I think Davis Jr. in some kind of early survival mode here.
Yeah, just trying to make it messy. Always thought it was an awkward night for him anyway, Davis. And he's in an awkward position in his career, guys, as well. You know, he's won the British title, he's won the Commonwealth title, won the European title, gave them all up. But is he ready to step up to world level? Well, we're finding out here. Well, this is better. It's better. He's putting some pressure on and closing the distance. Certainly when it's at range and he can pull in those right hands, Valenzuela does look dangerous. If he can get in close like this, Davis, maybe he can just neutralise the threat of that right hand.
I've actually seen Robbie box southpaw before, and he was a lot more fluid, and we might see a point getting it. This is the second time.
Can't argue with that. He cannot argue with that at all.
1 point, hitting up the break. 1 point, hitting up the break. That's not that level, man. Okay.
He got his warning.
That's inside. Come on outside.
It's actually, I think I know what you're about to say there. He was much more fluid than he is tonight. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and he's doing a little bit what Juarez was doing in the first fight, and he's going forward, but his feet are still behind him, and he's not moving in with his shot, and that's why Dominic Ingle's saying, you know, move in, because his feet are way behind him, and he's off balance. He's getting caught, and he's not in the stance to be able to take the shot well.
Well, he's disappointed with himself there. I don't think he's got any complaints. He knows what's coming now. So that at least cancels out the knockdown.
Stand poppers and pick your shots, clever.
Yeah, what it doesn't cancel out is the momentum of the fight so far.
And you're boxing really well.
Dominic Ingle just a little calmer than he was in the last round. I think a reflection of it was a less of a crisis in those last 3 minutes than there was in the previous, but he's slowly working his way back into this one. You just sense, Nick, I think at any moment, if that right hand lands again, and he's just starting to slide him a little bit more. Well, he eats one there. Could be lights out for him.
He has got to guard against this right hand, no question about that. Still operating out of southpaw stance. There he spent most of the fight. Robbie Davis Jr.
He went through a little phase in I think it was round 3 or 4, where he was at least ducking and slipping the backhand. But now his guard is so wide, it's just coming up from every angle.
Yeah, he's had his warning. Hitting around the back of the head. We'll get a bit messy in it, this one.
He did, though, Nick. He did land a couple of southpaw jabs on that cut above the left eye of Valenzuela. The Mexican just dabbed at it and blinked a couple of times, and he's starting to blink, and I wonder whether the blood is just starting to run into the eye a little bit and just cause him a little bit of discomfort. And listen, you never know the kind of things that can change the pattern of the fight. If that does start to bother him, that's the kind of thing that can just be the difference between, you know, those split-second decisions that you make. If you're thinking about something else, you're preoccupied, you're looking at that jab, just give Robbie Davis a little bit of extra confidence to see that blood starting to pour as well.
And as you said, it's a cut in an awkward place. Got a sharp little left hook in there, Valenzuela. And bit of blood coming from the nose of Davis now. He's so respectful of the right hand, but Valenzuela hasn't been smart with his use of the right hand in this 5th round. Rather telegraphed them. Davis, certainly when they get up close, is more than holding his own, you know. Valenzuela seemingly in no hurry to try and get off those ropes. Happy there, but Davis is outworking him and out-hustling him.
Right, Rob, outside of him, hands up. Step outside, back to boxing. Back to boxing. Pop and move around him, come on. That's it, beautiful stuff.
Yeah, still working that jab, still targeting that damage.
Keep popping him. Keep popping, don't lunge, come on.
Really is developing into an intriguing one, this one. If Davis can survive this round without any great dramas, he'll feel he's right back in it, you know.
To me, come on. Timing's good.
His feet are laboured, he looks a little bit clumsy, he's a little bit slow reacting. It looks like he's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Tash. I think, you know, he's trying to step in and just take his head off the line as he does so, because he's anticipating that counter right hand. He either needs to do that or he needs to drop into range when he does commit, just because the Mexican is looking for that laid-back counter right hand down the middle. I'm still not convinced the southpaw is the best stance at all against this. And Dominic Ingram knows what he's doing. They've got a game plan, but it just feels as though everything about this screams that he needs to switch to orthodox, and it's not as if he's not capable of doing so.
But he's not going to do it. You've heard the instructions in the corner, but again, he's managed to get through that round without any great drama, although he is blooded around the nose.
Perfect. This kid there.
And he did make Valenzuela miss, not that time. Now, that was a sharp one, but he was limited with his success with those right hands.
The thing with a southpaw and an orthodox when they fight, if you hesitate, because you're so far away, your feet are so far away, you can see it coming a mile off. And you're seeing there, it was a prime example. He hesitated to throw the hook. And Valenzuela just countered because he knew what was coming, because he was so far away in that southpaw stance.
He's going to time you when you step out, he's going to load off. You've got to be tap, pang, and coming round backhand. Don't be throwing that backhand from there. Come round him and bring it off as you're spinning round him, yeah? You listening? Come on, Robbie.
Yeah, he's exactly right, Nick. Just he's got to step off down those channels. He's got to get his head off the line when he steps into range, because the first thing you do is negate the counter right hand. The second thing you do is give yourself an angle. You force Valenzuela to turn and reset, and you can land your shots off that. But you've got to go round the circle. If you don't, you're going to step in a straight line. You're going to get tagged. And you're going to get tagged with force.
We're in the second half of this 10-rounder then.
Come on. Up again.
Really is living up to its billing.
Keep stabbing him, stepping around. Come on, he's throwing that laser.
Davis has been on the floor. Valenzuela has had a point deducted.
Step around. Come to me. Step around him. Step around him. That's it. Keep stabbing him.
The first thing you've got to do if you're going to stand in the southpaw position and throw the shots that Dom's asking for and the movement that Dom's asking for is you've got to get your foot on the outside, and Robbie's moving to his left all the time, and if you can't put your foot to your outside, you're moving to the wrong way.
That's exactly it. If you're going to set that left hand up, you've got to go to your right. You can't go to your right. He did it there, and that was perfect. But again, just smothering his work a little bit. But it's listen, given they've had a year in the gym together, you never want to be critical, and there could well be some extenuating circumstances. You know yourself, Tash, there's so many things that can go on that can affect your performance in the ring. We mustn't assume that this is just poor preparation, but the tactics, moment to moment here, just don't seem right at all.
It was a late addition to the card as well, this one, which might be worth pointing out. Anthony Fowler, another Liverpool fighter, was supposed to be booked for this one, but he tested positive for COVID. So, but they have had plenty of notice, and as you say, they've worked together enough in the gym. You think they would have established that relationship now, but they did get a relatively late call here. Meanwhile, though, Davis is having more and more success. He's just building himself back after that knockdown. That's nice. It's nice again. Valenzuela having less and less success with that signature right hand of his. But nice again from Fowler. Lovely little sharp right hook. Well, that southpaw stance. Doesn't want to get caught in a corner. Valenzuela is starting to come forward more and more in this fight.
Keep stepping over his foot. Come on, that's it. Come on again, step around. Oh, beautiful, Robbie. Step again. Pop and step around. Come on, that's it. Beautiful, Robbie. That's it. Keep going.
He's doing there what Dom's asking him to do, and he's got his foot in the right place to do it. But sometimes he's dipping to try and come over with his own backhand, but he's getting caught in the meantime. He needs to keep his foot on the outside to do what Dom's asking him to do. But as you see, he's clearly wrong there. But he's coming back in every time.
Last few seconds of the round, it's been another close one, another tough one to score in a lot of ways. Oh, nice. Right on the bell there. Really made Valenzuela miss beautifully. Caught him with a counter. Now, that'll give him a little bit more added momentum as well. He's working his way back into this fight. He really is.
He is, Nick, but my goodness, is he making hard work of this? And I'm just not convinced again. I feel like a broken record here, but the southpaw is just not the best option for him against this fighter. Yeah, okay, you can box in spurts if you have the ability to switch it and you've got a game plan for both stances, but you have to accept when one stance and one position isn't working in a fight. Boxing is about adjustments, and if you don't make them, you can't expect a different result if you're not willing to change what you're doing. And he's had pockets of success there, but goodness me, you just get the impression he could have made life so much easier for himself over the last few rounds.
Keep it disciplined. You listen to me. Disciplined. You don't get caught with a stupid shot. You will not get caught. Keep to your boxing.
It's round 7 then. It's a 10-rounder and Valenzuela comes out fast. The feeling that Valenzuela is the guy that's going to have to try and change things up a little bit, because he's not had an awful lot of success since having that point taken off. I wonder if that's messed with him psychologically a little bit as well. Better work again from Davis.
You got to keep him busy.
I would like to see Valenzuela go through the gears a little bit. Tried the lead backhand there.
Comes a step to your right. Don't be tight. Next time you do that.
You do wonder, Tash, that Chris pointed out, that cut over the left eye as well for Valenzuela. How much is that bothering him? Really loaded up and missed badly there with the right hand.
It seems to have cleared up a lot. The corner people have done a good work. But when you get it trickling into your eye, when you can see the lid fold over, you know, you do go into a bit of a panic mode, and it can change how you approach the rest of the round, because you don't want it to get worse. You don't want it to get stopped on a cuff for any reason. But it would be definitely something for Robbie to aim for.
Nice sharp backhand there from Davis. And it clean with the left. Valenzuela took it well. Valenzuela never stopped. 2 early career defeats against undefeated fighters who are both still undefeated. And of course, as we've already mentioned, Eddie Reynoso was dangled out the carrot there. Win this one, I'll stick you on a undercard that you'll never forget, the Canelo undercard. But right now, I'm not sure he's on his way to winning this one, which I certainly was after 3 or 4 rounds. You just thought he's got this very comfortable at the moment, Reynoso, but Davis has adjusted, kept busy, stuck to that game plan, and there's all sorts of arguments and disagreements about whether he should be in the southpaw stance or not. It's irrelevant, really, because that's where he's boxing out of, and he's either going to win or lose this fight boxing out of southpaw.
He's having a lot more success when he starts first, you know, avoids a shot and then goes again. So first and third, he's had a bit more success in this round with that.
Doesn't want to get involved in a toe-to-toe trade. This fella. Tough rounds to score. Oh, got to watch that. The hand drop there. And he took one flush. He took it well. Now trying to force Valenzuela back as we get to the last few seconds of the round. And yeah, there was some frustration there from Valenzuela this time as the head bored in from Robbie Davis. Another good round for the Liverpool man. Meanwhile, we've got a very feisty-looking welterweight fight between 2 unbeaten fighters coming up. That's Florian Marku, a man who's built a big following, and a guy who impressed us last time out, Rylan Charlton, who's got the wonderful nickname, the pint-sized powerhouse. Got to have a good nickname in this game. Somebody's O has got to go. They do have a couple of draws, those two, but they're both guaranteeing a stoppage win. Sparks will fly. Joyce in the way of the... It is, you know, big Joe. How did he get in here? Mind you, who's gonna stop Joe Joyce if he says I'm coming in?
Yeah, he probably just came in through the side door, Nick, I imagine, and said good evening to security and sat down.
Same again there, Robbie. 3 rounds there. Come on, 3 rounds.
Probably in the back now with Fisher doing a couple of rounds because he didn't get to do many.
Yeah, the last word there, Davis, with that exchange, getting the left hand in. Valenzuela really hasn't built on that early success.
I do think the cut has potentially bothered him a little more than we've noticed. He's been dabbing at it a little bit. He's blinking with the eye, and as I said to you when that first opened up, and he started to just show signs that it was irritating him. And in the meantime, Davis Jr. has just kind of gathered himself, started to slip and slide, roll a little bit more, got his legs underneath him, and got into some semblance of a rhythm. And it's still a close fight. It's still neck and neck, but he certainly could edge the last 2 or 3 rounds to Davis Jr. And in a 10-round fight, if you can pinch, one of these last 2, this is going to be really, really close.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And it is the kind of fight where forget winning and looking good. The key now is just get the win. Grind something out. With the left hand there, Davis. Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. I don't know how you feel, Tash. For me, this is a 3-round sprint, this one, because it's up in the air.
Yeah, some of the other rounds are a bit of what you like. I give Davis the last 2. I've given 1 previously, so
Don't lose with the backhand. Step outside.
That eye, it really is messing up pretty badly for Valenzuela now.
Walk away, walk distance, come on, distance.
Yeah, looking for the distance. Ingles saying just keep out of there. Let him close that distance down. Again, the right hand badly missing from Valenzuela.
Yeah, not only is that left eye bleeding badly, it's also starting to swell and close a little bit as well. So clearly some of those southpaw jabs have taken effect, and they're altering the game plan of the Mexican. Listen, let's not get it wrong. Robbie Davis Jr. has not boxed well here tonight, but what he has shown is a lot of grit, a lot of heart, and he's stuck to the instructions of his trainer. He's tried to grind something out here.
Oh, but he's in trouble again. Valenzuela does finally get through with one of those right hands, and now Davis has just got to hang on here. That was an eye-catching flurry in a close round like this. That might be enough to give Valenzuela the round. And Davis is in full retreat again. And just landing some jabs as well, just to really emphasize that, yeah, I'm boxing this round. His face is a mess. Valenzuela marked up under the right eye as well. He really has been pounded. But again, it's the eye-catching stuff. If you made a highlight reel of this, it's Valenzuela's work that's impressed. And he has certainly boxed this 8th round. Another one round the back of the head, and Mark Lyson's let that go.
Yeah, he's going to have to be careful. That's the second one in the space of about a minute.
That was a blatant one. Yeah, he's not happy, Valenzuela. His corner really need to settle him down. So don't worry about it.
Don't be trading with this kid. Don't be trading. Shut up. You'll walk straight onto his backhand if you stand orthodox. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Deep breathe. This kid cannot land with that backhand. He'll be landing every time from orthodox. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Just relax and pop your jab. Don't overreach off your backhand. He'll be lined up for his backhand if you go orthodox.
Following left hand shook him up.
Switch a little bit, and you've got to be quick. When I tell you, I've been into the
And he
round.
really did get tagged.
Don't be going out. He comes strong beginning of the round. You've got 2 rounds left, Robbie. Do not be standing in front of him, having a trade-off.
Yeah, he's right. He's absolutely right there.
Yeah.
Don't trade with this fella.
Come on.
He might be right about that, Nick, but what he's not right about is if you switch to orthodox, you'll be open to the right hand. If you're in the southpaw stance, you are open to the right hand. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to agree to disagree on that one. Myself and Dominic Ingle, Tash, I saw you nodding me there as well.
It's like, I mean, who am I to tell, Dom Ingle? He's got a lot of world champions, got all the experience in the world, but as a southpaw myself, one of your favourite shots is the backhand, and orthodox boxers aren't used to you, but you're used to them. You fight them week in, week out, and that stance is bread and butter, and your backhand is your bread and butter shot. So I don't get where he's thinking, where he's going with that.
Well, we're just getting the laces adjusted here for Robbie Davis. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in the business that are echoing the thoughts of you two that Dominic Ingle's strategy, well, if it works, he's going to look like a genius, but he is now getting tagged again. Those right hands coming through. And it does fly against all the conventional wisdom of the game, what Ingle has sent out there. Davis has really got to watch. Yeah, I mean, he's close to a point off. He really is.
It isn't that in principle what he's saying doesn't work. If you're going to be switching and stepping down that outside channel, taking your head outside centre, drawing that lead and then coming back with your own counters, that's fine. But if your fighter's for whatever reason not able to do that just because the timing and distance isn't right or the fighter's a little bit off, you have to be willing to try something else. And he hasn't, you can clearly hear from the exchanges in the corner there, he hasn't been willing to let Robbie try that. Robbie clearly said to him just then, I want to switch to orthodox.
And that's the thing, Robbie, he's seeing that he doesn't feel that it's working and he wants to change it, but he's being told to do. So in that sense, what are you supposed to do as the fighter? I mean, if you don't do what your corner says, and you can get reprimanded for it. So do you keep going and getting caught with shots like that? He can't win. He's in a lose-lose situation.
I think, Luke, it's fair to say, if this goes the distance and he doesn't get the decision, Robbie Davis Jr., this could be the source of real contention between fighter and trainer.
I was just about to say, it would be very interesting to see the fallout if he loses it. And if he wins it, of course, Dominic Ingle's a genius. Last minute of this 9th round. It is just to find a way to get it done night for Robbie Davis Jr. It always looked a tough assignment on paper. There was nothing about this man that said it was going to be an easy night's work, and sure enough, Gabriel Valenzuela has made life very difficult for him. And I tell you what, Robbie Davis has had so many warnings. Hasn't done an awful lot in this 9th round either, Davis.
He's moved a bit better than he has in previous rounds. He's ducked under the backhand and moved his head off the line, which is basically what we did there. It was a prime example on cue. That's what we've been wanting to see. And if you're doing what Dom says, that's right. But he's just been caught by too many.
Well done, Robert. Beautiful.
Another close round to score that one, and we're down to 3 minutes of this one. Gabriel Valenzuela's face is a mess. That's a deep cut under the right eye.
Stops chasing you because you're going to try and drag you into a fight and let you stand. Do not stand with this kid. Roll and pop, roll and pop. Do you understand? Even if you can throw a shot, don't roll and pop it straight and move. He'll put the pressure on for 1 minute and then he'll slow down. So you don't stand with him for first minute, you're boxing. Do you understand? Yeah? You've got one more round. You need this round, you've got to be smart, you've got to pinch it on, you've got to pinch it with a jab. And you've got to be scoring, yeah?
Dig in, brother.
Deep breathe, give me a drink. Right. Do not get caught with a stupid shot. Are you listening? Do not get caught with a stupid shot.
Somos mejores, güey. Vamos a ganar porque venimos hasta acá para ganar. Vamos a defraudarnos.
Nice and long, but you jab.
Dominic Ingle there said you need this round. On my card, he needs a knockdown and quite possibly a stoppage. But it's going to be close, and there's a lot of close rounds in this fight. But will one of them make a decisive move in this 10th and final round? I'll put you guys on the spot. Who do you see ahead?
Me personally, I've got Valenzuela ahead. But again, it's one of them things with, what the judges see. Some rounds have been close, it's what you like. Robbie is moving better now and getting caught, I think, a little bit less. But if you're talking about powerful, accurate shots, then that's coming from Valenzuela.
Yeah, I can only echo what Tash has just said there. I think Valenzuela's ahead in the fight. I think Davis Jr. needs a huge round here. In agreement with you, Nick, probably a knockdown of some sort. We've had the point deductions and the knockdowns and everything else kind of leveled themselves out. But really, Valenzuela's pressed the action. He's landed the hurtful shots. Davis Jr. took a long time to work his way back into this. And he's looked out of sorts for me. I would be surprised if he got the nod here.
It's tough to make a case for Robbie Davis winning this fight, it really is. But there have been some close rounds. Just remember, Davis was on the floor, but then the point came off for Valenzuela for hitting after the break. And Lars Davis has trodden very close to the line of having a point off. It hasn't happened. And we are down to a minute and a half left of this one. Who's got the big finish? As I said earlier, guys, I think you just basically agreed with it. You think about the highlights. If you're making a highlight reel of this fight, all the good stuff has come from Gabriel Valenzuela. There's been a lot of scuffing and grinding from Davis, and yeah, you can win a fight that way. But I just don't think there's been enough of it. We're inside the final minute of this one. He's keeping his movement going. Valenzuela's getting through again, and he looks like he does carry his power, Valenzuela. Davis, he's rocking and really feeling it.
Yeah, he's really hurt.
Takes a flush one. Now, can Valenzuela make the judges completely irrelevant here with 30 seconds to go? Davis is absolutely out on his feet, showing tremendous courage just to keep firing back, but his legs are all over the place. He doesn't know what stance he's in now.
He was working off just pure instinct there and gut instinct, and he did well to recover and get away and get his head a little bit clear for that.
Listen, if Robbie Davis needed this last round, he hasn't got it.
No chance, absolutely no chance. He's been battered from pillar to post for the last minute and a half, and there's nothing that I don't think he can dredge up even at this stage now that can deter this guy who did not want to leave this to the judges.
Well, he has left it to the judges, but really, surely there can be no argument about who's won that one. He knows it. We all know it. And Davis, I think, just happy to get through it. The adrenaline, as you say, carried him in there, but he showed huge heart there to stand up to that assault, Tasha, as you said.
Yeah, it was a bit of an experience as well. He was trying to get close enough to hold and to give himself a second, and when he couldn't, he was skating about a little bit. So, yeah, we're just going to see the shot now.
Oh, that's the one. I thought he was gone. Somehow, he managed to just keep his movement together. Rushed it a little bit, Valenzuela as well, and he was able to ride it out. But, you know, those last two rounds, Valenzuela won them comprehensively for me. It will go to the three scoring judges.
Yeah, okay.
And we had controversy a week ago.
Good fight, my brother. Excellent.
So we just wait now.
Go win. Go win.
And all they can do now is hope that the judges see it in his favor. But
Nothing in it.
yeah, well, they're saying nothing in it. They're saying nothing in it, which says a lot. Because even if you've lost, you're always saying, yeah, I think I did just enough. They know. I think they know. It's a game effort from Davis. I remember looking at it, and we just look at the finish again here, and Chris, I know you and I talked about this. You looked at Valenzuela's record, you looked at the level of opponent he'd been in with, you looked at what he'd done over the course of his career. It looked a really dangerous night for Robbie Davis, and that's the way it's turned out.
Yeah, this was never ever a one-sided fight. There was never ever a big favourite in this fight. No Robbie Davis Jr. can box. He's boxed up to European level, and he's a good fighter. He's compact, he picks his shots well, he moves well, but he was out of sorts tonight, and whatever you put that down to, he may know something we don't, but could be a bit of timeout, could be a bit of stagnation. But ultimately the tactics seemed a little strange. I think switch hitting may have benefited him more, and I think when the southpaw stance wasn't working and he was getting buzzed by that right hand, he should have made the adjustment. Perhaps Dominic Ingle should have made the adjustment. They didn't do that, and listen, we're going to find out what the result is shortly anyway, but they've made a very, very hard night's work for themselves. That we don't know if it would have been easier if he'd been in the orthodox stance for portions of that fight, but I suspect it would have benefited him at points.
Who do you think's more nervous standing there now waiting for this result?
I think we know the answer to that.
Yeah, a rhetorical question that tells you everything you need to know, and I think everybody at home will be feeling the same thing as well. Robbie Davis, you know, Dom Ingle can kind of try and sow that seed of saying, oh, it's close, there's nothing in it, but I think they know if they were to get the nod in this, they would have been very, very fortunate tonight.
There are some close rounds. I mean, this wasn't a blowout. It's not a shutout. He won some rounds, but not enough for me. Not enough at all. I've actually got this by 3 for Valenzuela, for whatever that's worth.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action here in London, England, we go to the judges' scorecards. John Latham scores this bout 94-94 even.
Oh.
Ian John Lewis and Victor Lachlan both scored this bout 96-95 for your winner by majority decision. And the new IBF Intercontinental Junior Welterweight Champion, El Orgullo.
He's got it. He's got it. Those cards were mighty close. But the guy who deserved to win has been given the decision. But how close was that? One scorecard level, two with just a point. But justice has been done here, and just look at what it means to him. You know, we talked about life-changing nights for Mauricio Lara last week. It could be a life-changing night.